Next up, Marcelo Munoz will ask the next question from the audience.
When your term begins, the so-called stimulus money will be history. What will you do for revenue to run the state?
There'll be a much smaller state government without stimulus dollars because I have committed not to raise taxes. And as thousands of families in Alabama have come to find out in these current tough economic times, they've had to do belt tightening, and we'll have to do the same thing at the state. Now, having said that, while I'm continuing my commitment not to raise taxes, I understand we've got families suffering out there. And my solution has been to partner with faith and community-based organizations to provide services to people in these times of need. If you think back 100 years ago, it was our churches and our families that were our social safety net. And as we move forward in an era of declining state budgets, where we've got more people hurting, I understand that we need to do something to try to help them. And the way that I intend to do it is by building partnerships, as I have done in the past, through a number of different programs, to basically try to leverage the limited state resources that we have to still provide those services while at the same time working with very much reduced state budgets.
The way we got in this mess is the budgetary irresponsibility over the last decade. We had some extremely robust years. You had growth year over year at 7 to 8%. That's more than twice the rate of inflation. This is what happened. If you put it on a curve and you said, okay, the historical rate of inflation is 4%, and we're going to budget at 4% each year. And then in these wonderful years of growth that we've had looking back, the revenue line was above that 4% line. You took that surplus and you stuck it over in a bucket. We would have several $billion sitting there and we would not be in proration today. The problem is not what's going on. The problem is the budgetary process in years gone by. What they would do, they would rebudget each year at the peak, and it became a recurring cost to government. Government cannot sustain 7 to 8% growth. Government should only grow at the rate of inflation. Had I been governor, I would have vetoed any budget that was any larger than the rate of inflation. And had we done it, we wouldn't be in this mess today. Looking forward, it is going to be tough, and it's very, you hate to go through it, but government must, and they will resist it as long as they can. They will not tighten their belt. Every business and every family is having to make tough decisions. There's no reason that government can't do the same. Let me give you another statistic that I learned recently, and I'm not picking on DOT folks. This is not about them. But 10 years ago, since 1998, the general population in Alabama has grown 6%, but the head count in the Department of Transportation has grown right at 36%, 6 times. It's unsustainable. It's too much. It's government out of control. It is bad management, and I know how to fix it, and I know what to do. Thank you very much.
Dr. Bentley.
Thank you. We have 2 budgets in this state. We have a general fund budget and we have an education appropriations budget. The education appropriations budget is $5.4 billion. The general fund budget is a little over $2 billion. Let's look first at the Education Appropriations the Education Appropriations budget. And how are we going to solve the education problem in this state when, after next year, $500 million are going to be taken away from it because the stimulus money is going to be gone? Well, we do that in 4 ways. Number 1 is we budget differently. I like the 15-year rolling average budget that has been presented by Representative Canfield out of Jefferson County. If we had done that 15 years ago, we would have had 0 proration. If we had given our teachers a 2.5% cost of living raise every year, they'd be making more money today than they are at the present time. So we budget differently. Number 2, we must get the cost of health care under control. Of the $5.4 billion budget that we have at the present time, $1 billion is health care. We must get this under control. Now, how do we do that? We do it by putting our teachers and our state employees on health savings accounts. Michigan this past year has done that, and they've saved $194 million. We can save $100 million in Alabama by putting our teachers on health savings accounts, but they actually, if they don't overutilize the system, will get a raise because they don't use their money up. Number three is 13% of our budget is unearmarked. 87% of our education budget is already earmarked. I want every agency in that 13% to come before our Education Appropriations Committee and justify what they've done the last year. And if they can't show any of the results that we think they should show, we need to take them out of the budget. The fourth thing, quickly, I don't have much time, but thank you for the applause. The fourth thing we must do is, you go let me finish? The fourth thing that we must do is allow more local control and let our local school system decide what needs to be bought and what does not need to be bought, like buses and textbooks. Thank you.